Are you subconsciously avoiding challenge?
I don't know, Nate. As I was watching myself on video, I think there was a big battle going on between my conscious and my subconscious. My subconscious was saying, no, I would never do that. And my conscious was saying, yes, you are doing that. What do you mean by this? It sounds like a really cool question.
Well, one of the coolest numbers ever to come out of psychology. And I heard this once, like somebody shared it, and I thought it was really cool. And I'm like, I always kind of took it with a grain of salt. And then I was looking through an old psychology textbook one day, and the first chapter leads with this stat that we are perceiving 11 million pieces of information every second, but we're only consciously aware of 40 to 120 of them. So basically,
so easy, just 40 to 120.
Yeah, just somewhere in there. But even on the high end, that means that you're 99.99999% of your life is happening in your subconscious, underneath the surface. And so that's why this question matters, because we can think we're doing a great job of meeting challenge head on. We're like, yes, I'm going after this, I'm doing this. But we can be subconsciously avoiding those challenges, and it can put us in a real bad spot.
Like, how bad of a spot? Describe
depending on the challenge you're avoiding. Because of, like, if this is a relationship challenge and you're just, subconsciously deferring, that relationship, if it's bad, can get worse. And then, that could blow up in your face. That could be a divorce. That could be an ugly breakup. You could be putting off doing something for subconscious reasons that's stopping you from excelling at work, connecting better with your kids, making some important changes. And then it can be just like little things too that don't really matter. But our subconscious is always working. And this is why when we talked before about those, all progress starts with the truth. Where the focus goes, the energy flows. You'll always follow through on what you believe. The subconscious plays a huge role in that, especially with the beliefs. The beliefs that we have lodged in our head that get clear down to that subconscious level, they can really get in the way of us being successful.
And we are talking to the parents here. I was thinking that later on we were going to go into the age group.
Mm-hmm.
How do I call it? Like this progression where
the challenge continuum.
The challenge continuum. Yeah, we could call it that. We start out as little kids and we love challenge. We want to try to climb this tree. We want to jump off of this rock.
Uh-huh.
We want to take on this puzzle. We want to do these things. And then we move into adulthood and we want ease and comfort.
Convenience.
Why is that? Why are we not embracing challenge?
Because life happens. We get the imaginary audience going in our heads. We become more self-important. And as we develop some of those things, as we move into our teenage years, we start to worry more about what other people think. And that usually ends up stopping us from embracing challenge. Usually gets in the way of us really going after challenge. And so kids are great at this. They're fearless. They'll try things. They'll talk to strangers. They'll do all these things because they embrace a challenge. They don't think in terms of, oh, this is going to make me look bad, or I'm going to get made fun of. And then life happens to them and they start to shift. And then they end up like us, subconsciously terrified of any and all challenge.
Yeah, I think it's a common thing, and you'll find this in work and business. It's very common for people to slide into the victim mindset, the victim mentality. And you look at an upcoming day and say, oh no, I hope this doesn't happen again. Or I hope this doesn't happen. Or, oh, I have to do these things. And your voice is full of dread.
Yeah, that's a tough spot to be in. And just listening to you, like I felt the negativity from that. How do you feel
That was
having said
negative?
that?
That was negative? So are you saying that I was subconsciously avoiding challenge?
Well, I'm saying that's negative self-talk. And a lot of the things that you're saying is stuff that's kind of an indicator that you may have some limiting beliefs or some other subconscious stuff that's getting in the way of you going after those challenges.
Yeah, I would certainly think that if you have negative self-talk, if you are listening to the naysayers, the haters, that you are that's going to wear on you. Like you were saying, yeah, I was just playing around, and you're saying, ooh, I could feel the negativity
Mhm.
there. That sets you up for avoiding challenge, because
Yeah.
the challenge is, yeah, I would say this is true. Challenge is inevitable.
It's inevitable. It's part of life. Life
Yeah,
isn't, it wouldn't be what it is without challenge. Like if we didn't know what challenge was like, we wouldn't know what triumph was like.
right. There is a comeback player of the year
Hmm.
for a
And we love
reason.
those
We
stories. Like
we
look,
love
just
those
watch
stories.
sports. We love when they tell us those human interest stories where it's, hey, this player, they got really, really sick, or they had an injury that was really severe and they came back from it. And we admire that. We love that because they overcame challenge.
So let's establish this, Nate. Challenge is good.
Challenge is good.
Should we seek challenge?
Yes, healthy and appropriate challenge. Of our role as parents is helping our kids find that sweet spot where they're challenged, but they're not overwhelmed.
Right. So, from a parental unit standpoint, what are we going to tell the parents today
Well,
about challenge and their
if the end
specifically
game,
their role?
okay. So if we want to help parents help their kids to embrace and strive to overcome challenge, always is going to go back to the whole modeling idea. The first place to always start is, as a parent, am I reflecting good embracing of a challenge? Which is why we started with the question we started with: are you subconsciously avoiding challenge? Because as a parent, I have to become aware of that, because if I'm modeling challenge avoidance and I'm not aware of it, then I'm not helping my kid, but I'm not aware that I'm not helping my kid. So a lot of this is for the parents to just look at what they're doing. Where are they shying away from a challenge? How can they be a good model of embracing a challenge and looking at a challenge with a good, healthy attitude? Like, and that's why, like, you asked me if challenge is good. And it's like, yeah, you have to say it's good. If that's the mentality, if you can honestly, yeah, I do like challenge. It's hard, but it's also good. It pushes me, but that's good for me. And if your self-talk is, you hear the difference between what you were saying earlier and that self-talk there. So as a parent, if I'm getting challenged and my kids hear me talking like that, then that's going to become the way that they look to approach challenge too. So the modeling's a tremendous place to start. Take on a challenge as a parent and let them see you struggle. One of the greatest things I think parents do is they keep chasing their dreams, their appropriate dreams, and they allow their kids to see them go on that journey. Like, I would dare say that your kids benefited significantly watching you handle your triathlon training as you were going through all that and some of the other challenges that you've had to face.
Absolutely. I it's 100 times or more beneficial for your teen to watch you take on a challenge than to have a one-on-one conversation where your mom or dad is telling you that,
Yeah.
hey, you should take on challenges. This is good for you.
Yep.
If they're
Now, if
watching you take on challenges, that's a much better lesson.
yeah, I think that's one of the most powerful lessons you can give as a parent is, how are they seeing you embrace challenge?
I just thought of something too. This is something that I commonly talk about with athletes, and that is when they're very nervous before a game,
Mm-hmm.
just shifting the mentality of turning this into, instead of going to the fear and the fight or flight end of the spectrum, and it's usually against a formidable opponent, you're viewing this as something that's exciting. Like challenge is exciting.
Yes.
Like I'm excited about this. I get to do this. This is very few people are even going to be on this court. There's just going to be, 10 of us if we're talking basketball. And I get to be one of those versus the other side of it which is, oh no, back to that negative stuff. Oh no, what if this happens? What if I don't play well tonight? What if we lose? What if, all those what ifs? We should be viewing it the other way. We're very excited.
Yeah.
I'm somewhat excited. If you're watching this on video, there was my earphone cord got caught and it was
he was so excited his earphones just jumped out.
Yeah.
But that's the power of self-talk. And if you model that for your kids, that's going to help them out. I think another thing that I would love to throw in here with what parents can do to help their kids with this. When your kid presents a challenge to you, or you're observing them in the middle of a challenge, when you get the opportunity, and this is where you can use one of the tools that we have, question-only conversation, that a great question to throw in there for your kids is, how can you use this as an opportunity? Because you're guiding them when they're in the middle of a challenge, you're getting them to tweak their perspective a little bit. They're not looking at it as this giant obstacle. It's, okay, how can this become an opportunity? It's kind of a stoic way of thinking. Ryan Holiday writes about it in his book, The Obstacle is the Way.
Right.
But that's a perspective. And you as the parent can help shape that perspective with the questions you ask. And that's a gold standard question there. How can you see this as an opportunity?
Yeah, there's so much power in words. Just compare the two words, problem and opportunity.
Oh yeah.
And how you perceive them, what it means to you. And we could be talking about the exact same situation. Is it for one person, it's a problem. For another person, it's an opportunity.
Yeah. And you see that all the time. But this is why, like, attitudes are controllable. So everybody has the capability of doing this. It's just training yourself to do this. And so when you are working with your kids, it's like you model that. Model. How can you look at this as an opportunity? The words that you're using matter a lot. The questions that you ask them is going to help shape their mindset and their attitude about challenge. And when they get that right, they're going to be super resilient and they'll be more confident too.
And that's one of the common questions we get from clients. How can you help me build my confidence? How can I build confidence? And this how you approach challenges certainly is a way to do that. I'm going to throw in this quote just because in some research I wanted to throw this at you and see what you think about it.
Okay. I love this.
And if you guys are watching on video, I love this because you can see Nate slowly moving into the darkness. This is
what happens when you use natural light.
Hey, the days are getting shorter.
Yes.
Days are getting shorter. Okay, so this is from a Dr. Thomas Szaz. I think I'm pronouncing his name correctly. It's Szaz.
Okay.
Yeah. Every act of conscious learning requires the willingness to suffer an injury to one's self-esteem. That is why young children, before they are aware of their own self-importance, learn so easily.
Yep.
How does that apply to this whole idea of avoiding challenge?
Well,
as adults.
We don't like to look bad in front of our kids. We don't like to look bad in front of other parents. We don't like to look bad in front of our spouse, our peers. Like, especially as adults, sometimes the worst thing that we feel is that we feel like we have to have it all together. We have to put this, polished image out there, and it often prevents us from allowing ourselves to be in a position where our self-esteem might be damaged a little bit. where our ego might take a little bit of a hit. And that's where the subconscious avoiding of challenge comes in, is that we'll mentally splint against things that put us in a situation where we may look foolish, or we may look like we don't have it all together, or that we don't know what to say or do, or that we make a mistake and screw things up. And so we just avoid it because it's easier. It's easier than taking that emotional and mental hit by doing something and doing it wrong.
Yeah. So have we given parents, let's wrap this up, Nate, but have we given parents enough to whether they have the tool or they feel empowered to do a self-assessment on whether they are subconsciously avoiding challenge?
I think that so much of answering the question we started with, are you subconsciously avoiding challenge? Just increasing your awareness. So if you come up against a challenge, or if you find yourself avoiding something, it's digging 1, 2, 3 levels deeper. Why is it that I don't want to have that conversation? What about this situation is causing me to act this way? Just increasing your self-awareness is always a huge positive step. So just, a little self-reflection, possibly some journaling about something. And I know that might sound weird, especially for the dads, but just doing a little reflection and going through that process of either self-coaching or getting a coach for yourself that can help you dig into that a little bit.
I think that's very helpful. I just thought of something for myself, is just a simple question such as, how can I view this? So when I do think of a problem or something I'm dreading or avoiding, how can I view this as an opportunity?
Yeah, great question. Same question that you'd want to ask your kids. How can I view this as an opportunity? How can you view this as an opportunity? I think we've given the parents some good stuff to go off of. And parents, if you have any questions on that or want to dig into that idea a little bit more, shoot us an email, createtransformbecome@gmail.com. Your questions and comments are always welcome, and we're here to help you dig into being able to be that parent that you want to be, that parent coach that will help your kids to find out their best and be their best.
Awesome. Okay, we're out of here. We got to go take on some challenges. See
I'm
ya.
fading into the dark.
On behalf of Steve Galley, I'm Nate Crandall, and we thank you, our loyal listeners, for tuning in to this episode. If you love what you're learning from the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching podcast, we would appreciate it very much if you would leave us a 5-star review and some glowing comments. We also encourage you to share this episode with your friends and family who are parents of athletes and performers. And if you want to explore further and see what Steve and I are creating to help thousands of parents, athletes, and performers, please visit our company's website at createtransformbecome.com. That's createtransformbecome, all one word, .com. There you'll find a growing number of resources to help you elevate your performance. Thank you again for your support, and we encourage you to create a magical relationship with your athlete and performer.